How you doing, everyone? I'm Thick Boy Noodles, and I love the challenge of speedrunning. Being competitive and the rush you get when you get the time you've been hoping for are the best feelings in the world. I have been speedrunning games for as long as I can remember. Back in the day, I would beat games over and over again while keeping track of the time on the clock. I actually had no idea speedrunning was a thing back then. I would do it with pretty much every game I rented from Blockbuster. You only had a week to play it and might as well beat it 20 times, right? Well, all this has brought me here today to talk about the challenge I set for myself just 1 week ago. A challenge not too impossible, but a challenge nonetheless. So the challenge? It was simple. Rank top 50% in an any percent speedrun category. But there were a few more challenges that I set myself up with. First off, it had to be a game I had never speedran. Katana Zero. Check. Second, I only had a week to do it. I bought the game on a Sunday and had to meet my goal by the next. There were 350 places when I started. 50% would be 175th. So I set off and purchased the game. I had never even heard of this game before, but I'm glad I found it. It was a ton of fun, to be honest. The first day was stressful. I wanted to beat the game and also learn the movements, so I played through casually at first. At this point, I was thinking this game is actually pretty hard, and I hadn't even speedran it yet. I was beginning to think I set the bar too high, but I eventually beat the game and unlocked the speedrun mode that they implement within it. Which makes me wonder why I had never heard of it. Oh well, I'm here now. I also went and unlocked the Prism Katana, because who doesn't love pink, blue, and yellow blood? Shit is sexy, am I right? So, I speedran the game after this, obtaining my first time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 20 seconds. Only an hour, 18 minutes, and 11 seconds off my goal time. I didn't even crack into the leaderboards. I was literally 351st place. This was gonna be a long week. Day 2 was probably one of the best days I had doing this. Lots of time to be saved, and I could fail multiple times and still get a PB. Actually, I got 4. A very eventful day if I say so myself. On my first run, I PB'd with a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 38 seconds. Still far from my goal, but I never gave up. On my next run, I got a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 47 seconds, inching ever so closely to sub-hour. I decided at this point to go through the guide on Speedrun.com and found out there were a lot of skips that I wasn't implementing. Like this one here, where you avoid the cameras and skip a lot of the fights I was actually struggling with. After finding this out, I went and failed it miserably. But I still got my first sub-hour time of 56 minutes and 19 seconds. This run put me in 348th place. Finally, I wasn't last. A great feeling indeed. But no, I wasn't done with day 2 yet. I ran it once more. This time I hit the skips. My heart was racing, because I knew how long it took me to get through these without skipping. I knew I was on my way to reaching this goal. I ended off day 2 on a high note. A time of 44 minutes and 31 seconds. Almost a full hour off the time I got just 1 day prior. And only died 158 times. This time put me in 330th place. And I only needed to cut my time down 21 minutes if I wanted to succeed. At this point, I felt as though I would have this done way sooner than I had thought. But day 3 had other plans. On day 3, I couldn't get anything going. I failed time and time again. My first run was a 46.26. Not bad by any means, but I couldn't keep the momentum on a positive. I ran the game multiple times and just kept getting worse. Dying when I shouldn't and just making mistakes all over the place. I had to step away before I put a fist-sized hole through my monitor or broke a keyboard on my desk J-Schlatt style. I came back an hour later and made it happen. I got my only PB of the day, and it was my last run of the night. Nothing special, a time of 41:43, but it was still a PB, and it brought me up to 319th on the leaderboard. But I was still far from succeeding. Day 4 started off great. I got a PB on my first run. The only problem? I forgot to hit record. I got a run that wasn't my goal, but it broke 300th place at 294th. And I didn't even record it. This made me pretty upset when I looked over and saw that I had started a recording instead of ending one. How annoying. I then got 2 runs back to back that were decent, but not better than the first. Knowing that I didn't catch that time on a recording, I knew I had to get another PB. And so I did. But not just one. I got 2, back to back. The first, a time of 29:55, only 6 minutes from my goal time, and putting me in 277th. And the second, a time of 29:30. This run put me in 274th, 100 places away from my goal. I was saying to myself, you can do this. Another day of multiple PBs, 4 of them to be exact. My first run was weak. My second was also weak. But my third had a great number tied into it. My third run was a PB of 29:03. This put me in 269th place. I don't know about you, but 2 69s is probably better than 1. But let's forget about the gawks. I got 4 PBs on this day, remember? This was only the first. The second blew it out of the water. A time of 26:43. 227th place. I was only 2.5 minutes from my goal now. My palms were getting sweaty at this point, and my knees were weak, and my spaghetti was a sweater, or something like that. Nah, I don't know. Anyway, I knew I had to keep this going, so I played some more. Failed some more, and choked at the end of runs a lot. But finally, I got 2 more PBs in a row. First, a time of 26:32. The second, 26:23. Only putting me in 222nd place though. I had 2 days left and I was barely beating my PBs. Knowing that I only had this day and the next to reach my goal, I started out with a lot of resets. But after a few tries, I got a new PB, a time of 25:12. This put me in 195th and finally got me past 200th place. I crushed my final time from the day before and now only needed to cut out a minute and a few seconds. It was all coming together. Or was it? I started choking after this, but I was able to get 2 more PBs in the process. A time of 24:41, only 32 seconds and 11 places from my goal. And then a time of 24:30. This was 183rd place. I choked at the end of both of these and was not very satisfied with the PBs, knowing that I could have beaten 175th place. Which was now 178th place actually. So I had to get an even better time. Still, I knew I had the capability of beating the times if I just clutched up and stopped dying. I died 20 times my last run. I kept thinking, what if I just died a few times less? I could be done with this. This was my last possible day to beat the challenge that I set just 1 week ago. Could I do it? I thought so. But at this point, I would rage when I messed up. And this wasn't helping at all, as I just kept messing up further. Knowing this was my last day, if I messed up, I would just reset. So, I probably reset 500 times, to be honest. But it was a Sunday and I had nothing else to do, so I just kept going. I would get a good run going and just choke at the end. Over and over and over again. Fast forward, it was now 11 p.m. I had been going non-stop for the past 5 hours. And before that, I had been going for 2 hours before taking a break. This run was different, I kept telling myself. I had messed up in the beginning, but I kept telling myself not to reset, to just keep going. I was behind by about 30 seconds, but I kept saying, just don't die, and you'll make up time. So I kept going. At one point I caught up and felt a smile across my face. Now just don't mess this up, I said. Just make it through. You've done all of this before. Just don't mess up. I did make mistakes after this, but they were nothing major, and I had plenty of opportunity to make up time. Just don't die. And so I didn't. I don't know how, but I would misclick and still live. I would just dodge their attacks somehow. There were some very close calls. My heart was pounding at 20 minutes and my mind was racing. Was I gonna do it? I'm so close. Don't choke now. There's no time to mess up. I got to a point where enemies were supposed to be, but something weird had happened. 2 guys were supposed to be on the staircase and they were nowhere to be found. I looked down and they were a floor below. Now there were 4 guys where there should be 2, and I had to fight all of them at once. If I die, I fail the challenge. If I succeed, there's only a few more minutes to victory. So I begin. I pick up a throwable object and kill 1 guy. This forced the rest to pile up on his dead body, and gave me a great chance to kill all of them with 1 blow. And so I did just that. I killed all 4 of them and moved on to the next area. The next area had given me trouble before, and I knew that I had to beat it first try. To my surprise, I got it done. Didn't die once. The next area was cake and I made it through. I now had 1 minute to beat the final boss. There were 2 sections to this boss. First section, got it done on my first try. But the second section, I died right at the beginning. I now had only 30 seconds. I slid twice, barely striking her, but I still got the 1 hit down. 25 seconds left. The turrets came out and I jumped up and cut them. Stayed on the wall and jumped towards her, hitting her again. 20 seconds left. I then slid up the wall and jumped off just as she appeared, slicing towards her and hitting her. Now all I needed to do was grab the knife and throw it at her. I grabbed it just as she exploded and threw it just in time, hitting her. If I was any later, I would be dead. 15 seconds left. Now all I needed to do was slice her head off and open the door. So I did just that. I got it done, with a final time of 24:03. I had done it. I had beaten 176th place by a time of 3 seconds. I was ecstatic. I was shaking. My adrenaline was through the roof. I know, it's only 176th place, but it was my goal. I reached it with 20 minutes to spare. That's not enough time to do another run. It was my last chance, and I got it done. I will be challenging myself to do this with more games in the future. I had a lot of fun and I enjoyed the feeling of success in the end. Speedrunning speedruns is what I'll call it, I guess. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments and give it a like. If you hated the video, let me know in the comments and give it a dislike. Subscribe if you want. Until next time, I'm Thick Boy Noodles, and stay thick.